Hi, this is Bob Vineyard with the Georgia Medicare Minute. How does Medicare Part D work? The short answer is it's a mystery. Most people, including the folks in D.C. who designed this plan, have no clue how it works. And I'm going to do my best to explain it to you, but the bottom line is if you're trying to do this by yourself, you're probably going to miss the mark somewhere, and you're going to end up overpaying for your drug plan. I don't just mean the premium, but I mean your entire cost, because there are a lot of moving parts. Original Medicare is fairly simple, with exception of the drug plan, the Part D drug plan benefit. This is the most complicated plan, and I've been in the health insurance business for over 40 years. This is by far the most complicated plan I have ever seen anywhere. And to make matters worse, this is not insurance that's coming from your employer. You have to go out there at age 65, and for a lot of people who've never bought health insurance before, you work for an employer. About 70% of the people who are turning 65 have been covered under an employer group insurance plan essentially all of their lives. They've never had to buy health insurance. Now all of a sudden at 65 they have to become an expert in all things Medicare. You can probably figure out, maybe with some help, how Original Medicare works. You might even be able to figure out how the Advantage plans work, but probably not. There's a lot of exaggeration and misinformation and misdirection that goes on when Advantage plans are being presented. It's kind of like, by misdirection, I mean it's kind of like, when the magician is trying to make the lady disappear, and he's directing your attention over here to the side and saying, well, hey, now look over here and see if you see the monster over there. Oh, you don't see the monster? Okay. Well, and you look back, and all of a sudden the lady has disappeared. What did he do? Well, that was misdirection. And people will do the same thing when it comes to some of the Medicare plans that are out there, the Advantage plans, and even the drug plans. They'll tell you don't want to plan with a deductible. And what they're not going to tell you is, because I don't know how to explain the way the deductible works. So you don't want to plan with a deductible because that's going to cost you a lot of money. They may or may not tell you that there are preferred pharmacies in there, and you should use a preferred pharmacy. And oh, by the way, the preferred pharmacy list changes from year to year. So just because you've got a plan and you've got a drugstore that you're using this year doesn't mean that it's necessarily going to be have favored status next year. So if you're doing this for yourself, or you have an agent that's helping them, or you're going to a volunteer counselor somewhere, or you're talking to the folks at Medicare.gov, just make sure that you ask the right questions. And the right questions are, how much is everything going to cost me next year? Is there anything I need to know about? Is there a drugstore that I could use where I can get a lower price? Should I buy all of my plans through my drug Part D drug plan, or all of my drugs through my Part D drug plan? Or should I take some of them off the list and buy them somewhere else because I can get a better price? Basically, there's a lot of moving parts to it. And I take the time with all of my clients and review their drug plans every year and point out to them, the plan you've got is not going to work as well for you next year. I ran a report this morning for a lady that if she kept her plan for 2019 and bought all of her drugs on that particular plan, she's going to spend over $5,000 next year on between premiums and drug co-pays. I showed her a way to cut it down to about $1,200 for all medications except one that is extremely expensive. It's not on anybody's drug formulary, and I can't find a deal on it anywhere. And it may be that she needs to have this particular drug, and her doctor says there's nothing else that's going to work for you. If that's the case, she's just going to have to bite the bullet because it's about a $350 a month prescription drug. But hopefully, her doctor will say, hey, there's another drug over here that's a lot less expensive, and hopefully it'll work just as well. Why don't we try that and see? Bottom line is, when it comes to prescription drug plans, they're extremely complicated. Most people don't understand them, including a lot of agents that are pushing them. So just make sure that you get good advice, and you may not understand everything there is to know about drug plans, but you really need to have a basic working knowledge. This is Bob Vineyard with the Georgia Medicare Minute. You have a great day.